Marketing is so important to the success of your business, and your menu, every restaurant's menu, is your most important marketing tool because everyone sees it. But guest convenience is so important, and wow factor across your restaurant is so important. Convenience and efficiency in the restaurant really helps move things along. Now, I travel quite a bit. I'm in airports all the time. Lately, I've been scanning QR codes at the table. I bring up the menu. I can see all the choices. I can add upsells. I can add drinks. I can literally see everything at a glance, and then I can close out, pay the check, and I still get the personal touch, the hospitality from the person that actually brings the food, either at the bar or at the table. This is possible in your quick serve or full serve restaurant right now. Today's guest is Ben Claeys. He is the CEO of a company called Menu Tiger, which specializes in digital menus, QR codes, order at the table, pay by phone, all the convenience and all the benefits Ben will bring to life for us today. You're not going to want to miss this episode. Did you know McDonald's boosted sales by 30% just by making ordering easier? You can do the same with Menu Tiger. It's all about guest convenience and efficiency. Best part, you don't need a fancy tech setup or kiosks. Menu Tiger allows your restaurant to create digital menus, take online orders, track sales and guest preferences all in one app. With Menu Tiger, you'll see faster orders, higher check averages, and happier guests. It's built for any size restaurant. Go to menutiger.com and start your free trial today. It pains me to see restaurant owners and leaders tied to their restaurants 24/7. They feel like if I want things done right, I got to be here all the time. I'm missing their soccer games and their graduations, but I got to be here. It doesn't have to be that way. What if you can empower any member of your team to learn a piece of your business, execute it, and get a reward for doing so? It's all turnkey in the Restaurant Academy. Free your time, give your people more value so they don't leave. Longevity goes up, turnover goes down, and you build a team, a dream team. Check it out at restaurantrockstars.com.
You're tuned in to the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. Powerful ideas to rock your restaurant. Here's your host, Roger Beaudoin.
This is the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. So glad you're with us. And Ben, welcome to the show today. How are you?
Hey, Roger, I'm good. How are you doing? Yeah.
Awesome. You've worked with lots of restaurants. We're going to talk all about what Menu Tiger is all about, but what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see restaurants making today? And what's your best advice to them on how not to make these mistakes? Like, such a competitive business. It's so challenging in many ways, and you've solved a lot of their problems. But what do you see?
Well, that's exactly what Menu Diary is about, right? It's trying to figure out what is, what are the pain points that restaurants, but not only what are the pain points that restaurants have, is also understanding what are the pain points that customers have, because they go hand in hand. And it's really looking into also understanding in which time are we living today. We're living in a time where most people have this kind of smartphone in front of their face about 5 hours or more per day, right? So, and then the question is, how with the QR codes, because that's how the QR code does. It connects the offline with the online. How can we actually bring more information, more helpful, information for the customer, but also in the same time of course, improving the whole experience for the ordering for the restaurant itself, right? So that's a little bit what we try to focus on. And we live with a new generation of Generation Z, right? They are definitely in the time of apps. They are ordering with DoorDash, Uber Eats, right? So this is not, what we are doing is actually a little bit bringing Uber Eats, DoorDash, but then within a restaurant experience. That's the right way to say it, yeah.
Okay, that sums it up. Let's talk about the brainchild behind Menu Tiger. Like, when did this whole thing start? And did you notice some bad experiences in restaurants where you felt you could improve it? Like, what was the whole idea behind it? And what problem did you really set out to solve?
So first of all, when menu QR codes became a thing, I was personally a little bit against it myself, because I was still also traditionally, like everybody, wanted to have a waiter that comes, orders, and thought like, okay, that's what a restaurant experience should be. Yeah. But then when more and more using QR codes to scan and order, I started to see all the benefits from it. I could actually see more things. I could visualize the menu, which was one of the pain points that you couldn't do with a traditional menu. I would order different things, right? The speed of ordering also improved because sometimes, you go for lunch, you want to get your thing quick on your table. You don't have time necessarily to, to wait 30 minutes or more. So the whole experience started to change when I started to use menu QR codes to order. And that was for me one of the things that I realized here is an opportunity. And that's where I started to focus. Like I said, it was starting in Asia, but it was not something like this already happening in the Western world. And that's where I started to make Menu Tagger out of a company that I was already running, which was QR Tagger, which is a company that actually focused on QR codes. So that's a little bit how it came that we built QR Menu Tagger. Yeah.
Okay, let's dive a little deeper into these pain points. Let's walk into a typical restaurant right now that is not using QR codes. Now, before we go there, I travel quite a bit, and I've been in a bunch of airports in the last couple of weeks. And obviously, speed of service is really important when you got to catch a flight and all that kind of stuff. And in two particular airports, I used digital QR codes. Like there it is. It's either a QR code on the bar or it's on a little stand up on the table, and you scan it, and literally there's the whole menu, and you can decide what you want, place your order, pay for it. It's all done. And then you just like, wow, right? But let's talk about all the restaurants that you walk into that aren't using this right now. And what are the pain points besides guest inconvenience? I mean, let's dive a little deeper into that because there's so many challenges in running a restaurant. And guest convenience is at the very top of the list, but it's also about service, it's about ambiance, it's about the quality of the product. But Menu Tiger is solving a lot of these problems. So what are these pain points that you really see?
Well, one of the main pain points is, of course, there's a fragmented front of house experience that most restaurants have when they are using, normal, traditional menus. And with the digital menu, they can focus more on really the experience, what the customer comes for. They can, what does a restaurant does? It greets the customer, right? It helps you to the table. So they can focus more on the things that really matter to give the customer a very different experience. And the ordering, what one of the biggest pain points with the menu QR code is, of course, also you need to scan, you can visualize the menu, you can understand different, you would maybe try something you haven't tried before. You don't need to look for cash because you can pay straight away. So all these kind of things help to make that the whole menu experience changes when you use the menu QR code.
Do you notice that errors go down and reduction, like the human element? I mean, we never want to lose the human element, especially in a full serve restaurant. Like that hospitality thing still seems to be there, needs to be there. But there's a lot of errors that can be made when someone's at the table, taking the order and going to the point of sale and entering it in and all that kind of stuff. Do you see that this actually reduces errors?
Well, we can say with a traditional menu, you have like about 8% of errors. With a digital menu, that will be 2%. So that's a big change. And also something that we realize is that because many people think that a digital menu is something for like a fast food restaurant, that's probably where it maybe started kind of, but we have also a lot of customers now that are fine dine that are using digital menus for in a fine dine restaurant. So that's also interesting to see that there is a shift from fast foods where you want to order quick to even a fine dine, because there's so many benefits that you can also bring within that whole experience, even within a fine dine restaurant.
Let's talk about that. That was one of my questions because it seems as though it's immediately applicable to quick serve, right? But now you're talking about fine dining or, full service restaurants that actually have servers and hosts that greet you at the door and all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about how it really applies and how it improves those guest experiences in a full serve place.
So in a fine dine, of course, one of the best experiences is that you really want to see what you want to order, right? And that I think is where the digital menu straight away gives you a benefit that you can actually visualize what you're going to get on your plate. Because on the other pain point that it takes away is like you have a traditional menu, you look at something and say, yeah, I want to eat that. And you have all this satisfaction and you want to, yeah, it's going to, but then the waiter comes and says, sorry, we don't have that today, right? Can you, and you're like, oh no, yeah. And then you need to choose your second choice. Right?
That's happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a pain moment, right? That you go through. And then if in that moment with the digital menu, if something is out of stock, you can easily remove it from the menu. So customer can only order what is actually available. And that I think is also one of the benefits, definitely, for example, within a fine dine, because yeah, it can happen that something is not available for some reasons or things that one of the ingredients that they want to use for the dish is, not there. So I think and then the other thing that can help in the fine dine is that, of course, that the waiters can really focus on how is your experience, right? How you're really doing. They still have touch points with you as a human because they're still bringing the food to the table. In between dishes, they're still going to contact how was the food, sir. So there's still all those moments that do still exist. It just makes that the whole experience becomes different thing. And let's face it, if people go to fine dining, the first thing they do when they have their food on the table, if it looks good, they take their camera out and they put it on Instagram, right? Just like saying that the phone is not part of the table experience anymore. It's not true. It is part of the table experience everywhere these days.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm a huge believer in what I call wow factor. So when any menu item gets put before the guest, and if the plate presentation looks amazing, and if it smells amazing, and you look at everyone around the table, you don't even want to cut into it, but you want to pull your phone out and take a picture and then post it. And that is free marketing, and that is really powerful using social media. So I'm glad you mentioned that benefit for sure. So yeah, I mean, phones are always going to be part of the dining experience for sure, as long as it doesn't interrupt guests at another table. I mean, absolutely. Let me ask you something. Has this proven, I mean, digital menus and QR code ordering and that sort of thing, have you proven that it actually increases spending and upsells and people maybe buy more when they see it all right there on their phone and they're just impulsively saying, oh, this looks good. That sounds great. What do you see?
Well, I would say yes. And one of the best use cases there is McDonald's, right? McDonald's saw they have this now self-ordering kiosks and they saw that they grew with 30% in revenue. Why is that? So that's the thing that we went to study in Menu Tiger, because people, first of all, when you go to a McDonald's and you want to order 20 burgers, there's that friction. You don't want to look like a fat ass. You will say probably, okay, yeah, but when there's a digital thing, you just click 20 burgers, then it's going to be delivered anyway to you. So nobody cares about who you are. So the psychological thing disappears, first of all. The second thing is all those add-ons, right? Because you're ordering and then there's all these little things that people will add anyway. And so you will be much more curious to explore the menu when you're ordering. You don't have the pressure of a line waiting behind you. That goes away, right? So it's not like you need to order quick something because there's only 20 people waiting there. So there's also one of those things that disappears when you have that digital experience. So McDonald's is one that studied this as well. And one of the big elements, of course, that will help you is that you can engineer your menu. You can actually see what people are ordering, for example, in certain times, and what are the best-selling items, right? So it is also important because many restaurants put a lot of stuff on their menu, but people might never order it, right? So maybe it's something that just shouldn't be there, right? And with a digital menu, you can really much more engineer your menu. The other thing that is, I think, interesting, there's a lot of things happening like Halloween or whatever. You could do something funny on those moments. With a traditional menu, you cannot do that. So McDonald's also understands that. They also entertain people within that, festivity that happens or other kind of element that they want to bring in.
Well, that's a really great point. You can change this like on the fly. And like you said, you can add, custom graphics and branding perhaps to it and do different things to change it day by day, month by month. Isn't that right?
That's exactly right. It's a huge benefit, right? It's just making the whole menu an entertainment kind of thing, right? Where it really becomes more dynamic. And that's, I think, what people also expect. You can have your traditional menu, great, but you can also entertain people on the side.
Yeah, and the menu, I've always believed it's the biggest marketing tool in any restaurant. It's one thing that every guest is going to see. And
Right.
that is a way to present your brand. That's a way to put yourself ahead of the competition. So I see that tremendously. So let me ask you about perhaps a recent success story with a client. And maybe you're talking to them and they're a little hesitant to try something. And then they brought in Menu Tiger and then, wow, Eureka, this is amazing. Can you think of any story like that recently?
Yeah, we have, of course, quite a bit of perspective. The nice thing about Menu Tiger, first of all, is that it's used globally. So that's also something that gives us insight in the whole food industry, not just in one country, but in the whole world, right? So it's used from the United States to Europe, to Africa, to Asia, to Australia, you name it, even countries I never heard from before. So that makes it, first of all, interesting. But let's take out really, for example, this café. That's a coffee bar kind of food place in Australia. You can order things. And of course, giving that digital menu help them to, of course, visualize the thing. They're one of those restaurants that tries to experiment a little bit more, try to offer different type of foods. And then having a digital menu, of course, helps to make those people that are also curious to say, hey, what's this new thing, and exploring. Like, for example, lately, I am also a person that once in a while explores new things. I tried a matcha tonic. That's something I wouldn't try don't try it for breakfast, but I wouldn't try it if I probably saw it on traditional menu. Just, I saw a picture and I'm like, okay, that looks something interesting. Why not try it? Yeah. So this store in Australia was really successful by using it. But that's the thing. It goes really wide. It's not just only restaurants. It could be also food trucks. It could be also on an event that you use as a menu jar. The use cases are much more diverse than you would think, and that I would think at the first. There was even people using menu tagger, for example, for the Airbnb, which I found very smart way. Because same thing with an Airbnb. An Airbnb is not just a place you stay anymore. It's a place where you offer a whole experience. And it was a way for them to give food, because not all R&Bs are in cities, right? So in this way, they could deliver food to people. So just to show you how far a digital menu can go, it's really can be interconnected in different use cases. And that's also what we try to understand. What are those use cases? How can we make their use case more successful? And that's also how we grow the product. We have, of course, a UI UX team that tries to see what is needed, but we listen very carefully to our customers to understand what are your pain points, what do you want to see more? And that's how we actually engineer the whole software behind it.
Now, there's new technology coming out every single day, and there's been a lot of, maybe single independent operators have been slow to adapt to new technologies and they're overwhelmed by all the different choices. Are you seeing that shifting now, and that people are really realizing when they run restaurants that there are certain things that will really improve their business, and they just have to vet those things and compare them and then say, wow, let's try this and it's really going to work? Do you see that there's that mindset shift? Because there's really successful chain operators that are all over the latest technology all the time. And then in the past, there's been people that are just really hesitant to change. They've done things a certain way all the time. What do you see with the customers that you're coming in contact with?
The first thing that I will say is that most restaurant owners are not so tech savvy. That's the first thing. So that's something that I noticed. That's also something, because sometimes we do go to restaurants and we talk to the restaurant owners. And that's something that they are sometimes a bit hesitant on, right? This is a technology. We are running a restaurant, we make food. But then, of course, when you come to talk to the pain points, that's where they start to see, like, okay, here is the benefit for us, right? Here's something that might work. Why not giving it a try, right? So I think there's a lot of people, like I say, still a lot of restaurants out there that really operate not efficient at all, that could do much more revenue if they would use a technology as Menu Tagger or any other one. But it's really understanding what are the benefits, what are the pain points that it takes away, and of course, being eager to try. On the other hand, many of restaurants already sell on DoorDash and Uber Eats, which is already giving them suddenly digital data and making them understand how this can actually be something that they can bring as an experience in their restaurant as well. Right? So it's, just two things that play a little bit in with current restaurant owners, being not so tech savvy in one side as it's done. In the other side, every restaurant want to make more revenue, right? That's the logic that goes behind.
Absolutely, right? That's the lifeblood of the business. You got to keep new revenue coming in all the time. How does Menu Tiger, say, integrate with some other technologies that restaurants are using, and especially POS systems, right? All this has to coordinate somehow. But what are some of the different tech pieces that you integrate with?
Yeah, so we integrate with different POS systems as Loipers. Loipers is also an open source system. So one of these they're using. We also have Canva, of course, that is integrated. We also have Zapier integrated. Zapier is actually when you really want to connect it to an accounting software or something like that. Oh, Zapier is actually a bridge, right? That's what it does. It connects one software API to another software. So we try to build integrations because we know, but on the other hand, we try also to be a full solution within Menu Tagger as well, trying to give people different tools that they might need, like a kitchen display. That's something that we're working on, for example, and other tools that might make them also smoothen their operations, right? But definitely integrations is something that we focus on because we know we cannot be everything. And that's also not our goal. Our goal is to really focus on giving them having a restaurant management software with QR codes integrated and letting people having, that's our real focus that we keep focused.
Okay, fantastic. Do you want to dive any deeper into some of the other restaurant management solutions that you're providing besides the QR codes?
One of the things, like I say, is now we're building this kitchen display. That's one of the things that we're offering. We also developing right now at the moment these kind of where people can structure their tables within their restaurants, right? So these kind of things are all being put in place so that people can actually also a little bit the accounting, right? So that people also understand a little bit more their numbers, because some restaurants, they don't have advanced accounting. They just need the basic numbers and understand how much it is. Some restaurants that I know still do it by paper and pen, right? Just to show that this all can be extracted from our software. And that's, I think, the thing that we try to focus on, trying to make sure that we have, for a restaurant that is not doing too complicated operations, that it can have everything in one place. That's, I think, the first thing. It's different between restaurants, of course, that are a chain or have much more customers. But for the most restaurants, Menu Tiger can actually fulfill most of their needs.
Let's talk about data collection and the importance of that data. If you've been using Menu Tiger for a long time, you must be able to capture what are the most popular items and what a guest really like, and all sorts of other things that that'll help you provide better service and accommodate their requests, things like that. What? Tell us about that.
So I think our customers' data is private. It's not that we dive into their data to see what can be better, but
Okay.
what we do is we do have a dashboard where we're going to, of course, tell customers what are their best selling items, when these items are selling, when are the peak moments, all this kind of thing. All this data will be collected. What do people order together? Such kind of things. So in this way, people have a better understanding of how to engineer their menu and actually get the most out of it, right? So this is the most important thing that you get, and that you might not always see with a traditional menu. Traditional menu, you might write things down or whatever, but you might not really understand really that data that makes your restaurant successful. With the Menu Tiger, you can also say, for example, I'm allergic to certain things, right? So certain things cannot be there, right? So at least you start to understand a little bit more, who are my customers? What are they looking for, right? So this, I think, is really important to understand today, because you can say, I run a restaurant, I have customers. No, you run customers that are a specific group of people that come at a specific time and order, for example, this food the most, right? So this is actually what you should be your focus on, right? This kind of information we all offer in the dashboard. And we're also experimenting with AI, where we're going to bring AI also as a consultant within Menu Tiger. So where you can actually call with the AI, not just type with the AI, but just really have a call and have, free consultation about your restaurant, how you can actually implement the menu software and do its best offering. Yeah.
Excellent. That's very helpful. You mentioned a while ago that there is a certain aspect of the market that's not very tech savvy, and there's a little bit of intimidation. But let's talk about a new client and what the learning curve might be. Tell us about the onboarding process. Like, I just decided, let's bring this in. How long before you're up and running and comfortable with it, and what's the process like?
I would say within a day. So it's not so complicated, right? It's really uploading your menu, and then you are ready to put it on the tables and play with it. Will there be learnings when you do that? Sure. Will you see that, you need to really get a little bit understanding, when orders coming in, how to deal with them, certain kind of things. But we all have a lot of videos for that, how to explain. So we try to make focus that, because in a restaurant, there's different people, right? There can be the owner of the restaurant that might be a bit smarter and knows how to do certain things, but there's also waiters that might be maybe, less intelligent or not really tech savvy to understand how to do certain things as well. So we try to make sure that we have different videos for different people that do different tasks within the software, and that it can be really quickly understood by everybody, because that's in the end the goal, right? It comes with a little bit training, but in the end of the day, it doesn't change that much. It's I would say the process is the same if you would set up your menu on DoorDash and you get orders and you need to, hand them over to the delivery guy. Now you just need to bring it to the table. It's kind of same logic.
Excellent. So, wow, that's like super quick. I didn't expect to hear that. So that makes it super easy and seamless. Excellent process. Great. Any new features or innovations coming up that you're really excited about, or maybe you don't want to talk about them because they're not ready to be launched? What do you think?
Oh, they're ready, but there's always little things that make it not ready yet enough to launch it. So that's the thing that, so the kitchen is paid. Definitely something that's going to be launched, I think, next Monday. So that's a big one.
Oh, wow, that's quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll be working on it for a little bit more time. But when we launch a feature, we really study it first really well, really understanding. I'm a person that is extremely on product, and I really dislike softwares that are built on logical, right? Where you're like this, why is that there? Or, for me, it needs to be so easy that a child can understand it. And if not, then it's a software that's not helping you, but becomes a pain point. And then, of course, once you launch it, you need to get feedback from customers. You're going to say, hey, can you change this? And then you still improve your software. So launching a product or a new feature always goes in process. Where we first study it as good as we can, and then throw it on online and see what happens and how people react to it, or maybe ask, enhancement in certain ways. Another one is a table management software. That is something that I think is also helpful for customers really to understand. Because that's actually what an owner needs to do. Overviewing his restaurant, where is everybody sitting, where's people on the table getting stressed because food is not delivered yet, all these kind of things. He can overview that in the table management things, where the waiters in the restaurant also can understand that food is not being served yet. Let's go and, entertain that, or talk a little bit to that customer to make sure that they are, doing well. So, and then, like I mentioned, AI, that's something that is happening all over the tech space right now. We tried mostly to look not just to do AI for AI. We try to see where can AI really be beneficial for people. How can it really add value? Because I think that's the most important thing with AI. AI is more than a trend word, right? It's change in how we can do certain experiences in the coming years, right? And that's also what we try to do, understanding how can AI be that new experience. Do I believe that digital menus will disappear because of AI? No, I don't think that you're going to go and prompt to an AI and say, I want to eat a spaghetti with certain things and show me different options. You're still going to go see a menu, you pick, you click, it's going to go still 10 times quicker than starting to prompt or talk to an AI to see what you can get on your table. So it's also the interesting exercise that we have to do from our side. What does AI means within that restaurant? Of course, in the operation part there, the AI can, of course, make smarter decisions and making sure that certain things go well. So it's going to be more like an extra employee in your software that helps you with making the right decision, that can tell you, hey, Roger, maybe you should sell more burgers of this because I can see there and this and this, something making some kind of help you to make certain logical decisions in your restaurant.
Fantastic. Ben, it's been tremendous talking to you all about Menu Tiger and the benefits that you bring to restaurants every day. Tremendous product. I've seen it in action. I can honestly say that I've used the product, and it does give you an overall good experience, and you're still getting the hospitality, especially in a full service place, with interacting with the guests. So thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome, Roger. Thanks.
Listen, don't lose birthday business to your competition. People celebrate birthdays 7 days a week. The check averages are high, and when they have fun in your place, they'll come back again. Talk to my buddy Dyson. He's an operator also, just like you and me, but now he runs a done-for-you birthday club. Go to jointhebirthdayclub.com/birthdayrockstar. It's a piece of cake. Every guest in your restaurant sees your menu. It's your most important and effective marketing tool, and every impression counts. TerraSlate not only provides easy-to-clean, waterproof, ripstop, antimicrobial menus that last, they also work with you to design menus that sell. It's time for a new menu. Get TerraSlate with a super-fast one-day turnaround and free overnight shipping. Go to terraslate.com. That's spelled TerraSlate.com.
Thanks for listening to the Restaurant Rockstars podcast. For lots of great resources, head over to restaurantrockstars.com. See you next time.